This video was recorded in front of a live virtual audience. Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to the Fashion Bunker. Today, joining me in the Fashion Bunker is my dear friend, Laura, aka TheCCspy. Hello, Laura.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you, sweetie? Listen, let me just tell the people, first of all, we're going to be talking Chanel, and this is the portion of the channel that's dedicated to the confessions of CHANELOHOLICs. So a lot of fashion talk, Chanel talk mostly, and this is all being filmed live, so we're also going to be taking your chats, questions, and commentaries in the chat section to the sidebar. If you are enjoying my content but haven't yet subscribed, now is the opportunity to push that subscription button, subscribe today, and push the join button next to the subscription button to become a member, gain access to extra perks. You can also join me on Patreon, superdacob all spelled together there as well. Thank you to all the members and patrons who have already pledged. And also thanks to all the co-chatters that are in the live stream now with me. Thumb up this video if you're liking it. So let me now cue in Laura's beautiful picture. There she is, our Egyptian goddess today. So this is a picture Laura took a while ago, I think 2 weeks ago.
That's right.
Right, 2 weeks ago. It was right around your birthday time.
Yes.
And so today I was like, what photo should we use? She's like, use that one. And I said, perfect, because I love it so much. So this is Laura 2 weeks ago, but she's even more radiant today. So where can you follow Laura? Laura can be followed on Instagram, and her Instagram profile is called TheCCspy. I'm going to spell that out for you. TheCCspy. All right. Laura.
Yes, here I am.
Darling, we're talking Chanel today. We have a couple of topics in the live stream. We've had a couple of questions already.
Yes.
We've been already chatting a little bit and figuring stuff out. I have this one here that really irritates me. There you go. Okay, here's. One of them being a topic that you and I wanted to talk about in particular, which was not mentioned in the chats, but I'm going to mention it here, you guys. This is the topic of resellers and private shoppers. Now, we have our opinions on that. However, I also am very well aware that we have a couple of private shoppers or personal shoppers and resellers in the chat and in the Fashion Bunker community. So you can also pitch in, you guys, give us your opinions and your version, your side of the story as well, from being private shoppers or personal shoppers or resellers. We're going to talk from the experience that we have as consumers. So that's something that is very interesting. This whole resell world and this whole private shopper world, personal shopper world. Laura, first question to you. When do you think all of this personal shopper thing really started?
I think that a lot of people have been intimidated sometimes about going into Chanel because of the aloofness that some of the SAs have, and they resort to using a personal shopper or a private shopper for them. Other people I think they shop in so many different boutiques that they have one person that goes and picks up everything for them. That is in terms of personal shoppers. I only had to use one once because I couldn't find an item, and he was somebody I knew, and he did me a favor, so I didn't have to pay extra. But I really, I rather miss out on the item than having to use somebody to go and get me something from the boutique, to be honest.
But I'm just thinking, because we have to put in some different categories. I mean, not everybody can afford to shop everywhere. Like you just mentioned, some people just shop everywhere, so they just pay somebody to pick stuff up for them.
Exactly.
I mean, that's like a high level of like being just rich and lazy, or famous and not wanted to be seen in boutiques. But I'm talking like regular consumers, like we are.
I think people are being put off sometimes by or they feel intimidated about going into the boutique.
Yeah.
I think the experience in the boutique is everything. Like you always say, it's our Disneyland, it's for me going in the boutique and experiencing the ambience and, the smells and the looking at the items is everything.
I totally agree with you. However, I have to say, Why is this hair so annoying me? I have one hair poking out, and sorry, you guys, this is just too much for me to bear right now. I guess I'm on the spectrum in some way, because if a certain line isn't right, I freak out. Also, when I was really young, you know, when you walk on the sidewalk and they have those like blocks of cement? Well, in the States, they're like really big chunks. They're big squares usually. I would never allow myself to step on the line that separates the two cement blocks. I would always have to step in between them. It was an obsession of mine. So I have this obsession with lines. Sure. Anyway, sorry, I digress. Okay, back to, you see, and this is irritating me again. Just cuckoo that way.
Amazing. I love your hair, by the way.
Thank you so much. Very 80s gold. Fluffy. I wanted it to be very like last girl, final girl from a horror movie. This is kind of like an 80s final girl moment. Okay, so back to the topic at hand. This is the issue. When do we think, is this social media related? The big birth and the big boom of personal shoppers? Yeah. Or did it exist before?
I think it existed before, but now because of social media, it's a lot easier to sell, isn't it? And to advertise the things that some personal shoppers can find through their contacts in several boutiques. So I have seen somebody posting 5 caramel bags. Oh, the famous mini caramel bags, the squares and the rectangulars. Mini rectangular, yep, 5 of them. Yeah, no. And they said, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but here it is. I have 5 of them at premium price. DM me. No, that's terrible. You see, this is. Oh, there's so much to cover up here. Okay, so much to not cover up, to touch base upon. We're not covering up anything. We're unearthing the worms, actually. Okay, so first, I also think that with the coming of social media, this private/personal shopper thing exponentially grew. It wasn't as big as it is now before social media. And I think also, to touch base on what you just said before, having that connection to the boutique, like it's like Disneyland for us, going there, enjoying it, smelling the air, living the experience. I think that's also not something that can happen for everybody, because it happens for us because we have some sort of relationship to our sales associates. So we are kind of allowed to enter the boutique and just sit down on the sofa. That's what I do. Because most of those clothes I can't wear, because Chanel is only for women mostly. I buy bigger sizes if the piece is more unisex. So I don't spend much time browsing through the hanging clothes. I come in, I say, hey, what do you got in a size 48, 50? They bring the 3 pieces they got that big, and that's it. Other than that, so I'm mostly seated on the couch and they bring me stuff and I just look around and I'm just like in awe in heaven, and I talk to my sales associate. We discuss about how things are selling. She's very open about that, because I ask like, hey, I always touch base on the 255, which is the love of my life. So I always say, you guys, to my sales associate, hey, you guys. No, I mean, to my sales associate, I would be like, I would be like, hey, how's the 255 doing? Because I'm always worried about the 255, because I've noticed that Chanel isn't really pushing the 255. They just made this huge commercial to push the Timeless Classic. And now they've officially renamed the Timeless Classic to the 1112. The 1112 was just one size. It was the code. It was the ending code of one size, the medium size of the Timeless Classic. But now they've officially called the Timeless Classic the 1112. That's its name now, you guys. That's its name. Live with it. And so I spoke to my sales associate. I'm like, this whole advertisement for those bags, I mean, like, we've seen it. It's been done already. What about the 255? She's like, no. The 255 is still in production. It will be in production, but the focus is on the Timeless Classic, now called 1112. And they're not going to be bringing out new reiterations of the 255 anytime soon. And so I always ask her when I go, I'm like, well, how's the 255 doing? She's like, well, most people want the double C lock. So, but there are just a handful of customers that she has that are, like me, obsessed with the 255. But other than that, it's always the double C lock. So there's that. And if you're not
if you don't have a good relationship to a particular sales associate in a Chanel boutique, you're not going to have these type of conversations. You're not going to have a chill moment of sitting down in the boutique and enjoying this allure. So most people come in and they're kind of intimidated because they don't have a sales associate. So they're greeted by whoever is there, and they get to work with whichever sales associate gets to work with them. And it's really hard to develop any sort of relationship. So I understand that if you are a one-time customer or a customer that travels a lot and isn't always fixed in one boutique, for you, it's not that much of a pleasant experience because your sales associate is quite distant from you because psychologically they don't know you. So they keep it professional and they want to keep it as short as possible because they want to keep it going. They want to sell and go to the next customer and sell again. So there's this whole thing that I understand if you're not working with one particular sales associate since a longer time, you might not want to go to the boutique because it can be uncomfortable. And so you resort to a private personal shopper.
Yeah.
And here's my issue. First issue. The sales associates are not supposed to. There are these unsaid limits. Listen, if you go to the Louis Vuitton website and you read their conditions, their terms of sale, ordering online, you're not allowed to order more than, let's say, 1 or 2 bags every 2 or 3 months. Like, there are limits. And if you order over that limit, they're going to block your account. Same applies to all luxury stores. Leather goods cannot be just purchased how many you want. You can't go in and say, I want 4 timeless classic bags. They're going to be like, oh no, boo-boo. You get 1 if we have it, maybe 2 in a span of like 2 months or 3 months. That's it. Of course, when you start having a better relationship to your sales associate, you can buy more. Why can you buy more? Why are these rules put in place? These rules are put in place because they don't want people to resell. Fundamentally, they don't want one person to buy all their stock and then sell it as a scalper for a marked up price. That's kind of how they protect their brand as well. They also don't want people to buy that are then taking it off to some other country, dissecting the bag, copying it, and then making copies of it. So they want to be sure that they trust you too. So that's why after you've developed a relationship with your sales associate, at one point, they also start bending the rule for you because they know that you're buying it for yourself, that you love the pieces for yourself. You're never going to resell them in terms of massive resales. And that's why they can then start breaking those rules. But if they don't know you, they're not going to bend those rules. They started bending the rules for personal shoppers. And this is my big issue because... And the brand is the culprit because Chanel puts a lot of pressure on their sales associates saying, hey, if you want to reach your quota and get your bonus and you want to get your commission, you got to sell this, and this amount of stuff every month. And regular customers just don't maybe let them reach that amount. So the sales associates started also accepting to collaborate with the resellers. And so because they get their commission, plus they get their bonuses. The resellers are happy because they get to get their own commission because they sell it at a marked up price. And they have their deals. Like, let's say the sales associate says to the reseller, yeah, okay, I'll give you the like Laura mentioned before, I'll give you the only 5 caramel bags. I'll give you the 5 mini caramel bags, but you're going to have to do me a favor too. You're going to have to buy at least the 20 pair of jeans I still have left in stock. And you're going to have to buy from last season, we still have leftover jackets and the shoes that we only have left in weird sizes. And then the personal shopper says, okay, I'll buy those as well. And I'll get the bags. This is one example. There's many other examples. We're talking on a bigger scale. If you really are one of those personal shoppers that kind of make these little shady, sketchy deals under the table with a sales associate, these things have been happening. I'm not saying everybody's like that. Don't shoot the messenger now, but some are like that. And so that's why things are possible. Like, oh, look, I got 5 caramel bags when nobody can get those bags. So this is where my issue is. At a certain point, the brand wants to get out their stock. The sales associates want to get their commissions and their bonuses, and Chanel keeps upping those limits. It's not like it's a low limit. Like with every couple of seasons, they change their contracts with their workers and say like, well, now you got to reach a higher amount of sales to get your bonus. Why? Well, because the bags have gone up in price. So it's easier for you to reach that limit. Their commissions are lower for the bags. They're higher for pret-a-porter. So if they sell you clothes, they earn more commission than if they sell you the bag. There's so much in the politics, you guys, of luxury brands and how they work in sales and commissions. Like, it's a whole mind-boggling, brain-bending world of its own. So it's hard to kind of penetrate through it and understand all the functionalities behind the scenes. But one of the biggest elements of this world right now are the resellers, the private shoppers or personal shoppers as they're called, because they function as a substrate of subsidizing the luxury industry. So they are kind of necessary for these luxury brands, but for the end consumer, which is us, they are loathed. So now I'm done blabbering. Laura, the field is all yours. Go.
The other problem that Chanel, this they told me themselves, the problem that they have is that these resellers, they work in a group, and they send different people to buy. So sometimes they find it some of them will work with a reseller. And I know of a person that in Chanel that does this. But others, they're trying to recognize them, and they cannot because they're always sending somebody different. So they work like in a group of people.
Like a mafia.
Like a little mafia of,
But if they send somebody else,
yeah,
on whose customer name, because, you know, guys, in these luxury brands, you have to have your own customer file.
Yeah.
So do they open up new files?
Yep, they use, they're different people with different addresses, and they go in and they buy the bag and give it to the reseller.
Wow.
Yep. And I've been told this to my face. They said, well, the problem we have is this. And they told me. Because I was complaining about this. I said, look, this person has bought 5 caramel bags.
Wait, at Harvey?
Sorry?
At Harrods? Harvey? What did you say?
No, I was just talking to a Chanel SA at a boutique, and I said, this is unfair. This person has just bought 5 caramel bags. And they said, yes, we're so sorry, but because they do this thing as a team, we find it some of them, we're very aware of them, but some of them will slip the net because they use this methodology, which is very difficult to track. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Because each buyer is a different buyer with a different address, a different name. So,
but this is what I'm thinking. That like very coveted.
And they go to different boutiques as well. Okay, so
yeah.
Boutique, yeah.
But these coveted pieces, how? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. But if I were a sales associate and I received only 2 caramel bags in stock, I would offer them to my best clients first.
Yeah, but they pre-order as well because they know what's coming. So.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's really it does bother me because there's a lot of people out there passionate about the brand like we are, and for example, a follower reached out to me and she said, "Oh, I didn't know you could pre-order. You could ask for this bag. I thought the only way to get hard like desirable items was to go through a personal shopper or a reseller." And I said, no, you can go to an SA and say, I know this bag is coming out. Could you please put me down for this bag when it comes out? But they didn't know. So they thought the only way to get items was to go through a reseller and pay premium.
But then, but here's another issue. Chanel doesn't show. Okay, so we get to see a fashion show. Chanel shows the fashion show. But the fashion show doesn't show all the product that's coming. It just highlights a selection of things. So how is a regular person supposed to pre-order something if a regular person doesn't even know what is coming? The caramel bag was not shown on any runway. No. So how how can you pre-order it? Only if Chanel trusts you enough to show you the whole catalogs, the pre-order catalogs, which they're not allowed to show you officially.
What I'd advise to people is once they have a relationship with an SA, there's usually colors or sizes that you prefer. So I've been wanting a caramel bag for years. So because they released a trendy in caramel, which didn't get to the UK. So I said, the next time there's a caramel bag, I would love to be able to get a caramel bag. So they knew that. So when one came in, they told me that this was coming out. And it's the only way. Sometimes you can see some of them, like the metallic, the rainbow bag I saw in the show, the one from the Métier, the 255 with the metallic sort of mermaid finish. So as soon as I saw it, I took a screenshot of the model with the bag and I sent it to my SA and I said, I need this bag when it comes out, please. If you could make it happen, you know, I'd be more than happy to get it straight away. So that's what happened. But like you said, you have to have that relationship with the SA, and that's what I think personal shoppers are cashing in on, that the fact that not everybody has that kind of relationship.
Well, but at the same time, I have the feeling like nothing is being done to regulate this type of sales and consumerism. Like there's no laws in place for
that they've done now is saying you can't buy more than 2 bags every certain amount of months. That's all they've done.
What did they do?
They are putting a limit on the amount of bags you can buy. So people can only buy like 2 bags every... Yeah,
but that's the limit. Months. But we've had this before. This is the regulation.
But they're enforcing it now with very severely.
I don't know how severely they're enforcing it, to be honest with you, because again, as you said, if these resellers organize and then they send out 5 different people to buy the same bag in 5 different boutiques, and then they all join the forces, connect the 5 bags.
There's always people who break the rules and find the loophole.
But I personally feel like the sales associates are also put under a lot of pressure by the brand to sell more.
Yes.
So that, again, at the end of the day, the sales associates make the final call, and they're like, okay, you know what? I'm going to sell it to the reseller because at least the reseller is going to guarantee me enough profits because they're also going to buy from me other clothes and stuff that is hard for me to sell. You know, certain pants and skirts. So I'm going to sell the stuff that's hard for me to sell to them as well. But then as an extra bonus, they get to buy the bags they want. On top of that, if the brand were not putting so much pressure on their sales associates to begin with, I think this would be avoided. I think the sales associates would have more freedom and more air, and to be able to tell people like, hey, you know what? I'm not selling to you. Sorry, you're too sketchy to me.
I totally agree.
Because even my sales associate is super honest to me and says, Dacob, it's all about the money. It's all about the money.
Oh, yeah.
And I was also a little bit complaining. I said, you know, because when I used to travel a lot, different continents and places, I really have come to see, depending on which country you're shopping from at Chanel, they're more or less giving. And altruistic in terms of their gifting. So in some countries, they're so stingy. You're not going to get anything when you purchase something. And some countries, you got to build up a purchase history. You need to have tens of thousands of dollars spent before they start inviting you to their special events, before they start gifting you the books, what have you. And in some boutiques I've been, I just bought a perfume and they give me a freaking book. You know, so it all depends. It all depends which country you're in, and also like how the mentality or the culture of the country is. You know, some mentalities are more giving, some are less giving. Some, also Chanel, the mothership in France, they kind of calculate according to what your boutique has been doing in the past. So if you've been stingy from the get-go, Paris is going to think, oh, well, your boutique doesn't give out as much, so you don't need as much of these freebies. We're not going to send you as much because you don't use them. And so there's a lot of that happening as well.
That's true.
Yeah.
We don't get hardly any sort of freebies from even the beauty counters here.
Oh, really? Well, no. Okay, but the only place within Chanel where I have built some sort of reputation, it's in the beauty section, because we don't get any gifts.
It's very rare to get the miniature perfumes. I mean, I think it happened twice in my lifetime.
Really? But have you been to the beauty boutiques?
In the beauty boutiques, yeah, they don't get, you know that.
No, wait,
you know
beauty boutique, the Chanel beauty boutique.
Yeah, even in any beauty, you know, like in America or Paris, you get loads of when they launch something, you get like they had the Mademoiselle, was it a Do Not Disturb set?
Yeah.
I had it sent from Paris. We didn't get any here in the UK. And it's like that always, not just because of...
No, but I just want to make it very clear. We're not talking about a beauty stand in Harrods or something.
No, in general, I'm talking about, in general, any beauty.
Okay, no, I'm not talking, because you see, this is, I think we're misunderstanding each other. I'm not talking general. I'm talking specifically the beauty boutique, which is a standalone store from Chanel, only for perfumes.
No, it's very rare to get any free stuff.
There as well. But have you been to a standalone beauty boutique from Chanel?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, well, the only place where I really have the VIP customers, well, I mean, I spend a lot there, but I also spend a lot at Chanel fashion boutiques, but I don't have any standard there. But in the beauty boutique, that's the only place where I do get the standard, and they're very, very giving. Which is so funny to me, because it's the opposite of the beauty boutique, of the fashion boutique. In the fashion Chanel boutique, stingy. And in fact, I mentioned this to my sales associate just 2 days ago, because I was back in the boutique. Yes, another unboxing is coming. Damage has been done. So I said to her, hey, what gives? Not that I'm complaining or nothing, but it's a little bit awkward to me that, you know, I'm buying all this stuff from you, and I always think it's best to be open. And I said to my sales associate, I'm buying all this stuff, and I'm super happy with the stuff. If I have an issue, I come back to you. You're always good. You always solve the problem. It's all great. But depending on where I am, which boutique I go to, like, I get better treatment elsewhere when it comes to, oh, would you like a catalog? And you know how much I love, I told her, like, you know how much I love Chanel. Even if you give me a freaking sticker, I'm just going to be super happy. So it's not that I want to get a 200 milliliter free perfume bottle. I bought my perfume because I wanted it. You don't have to give it to me. But like, sure, they give me a bottle of champagne. And I'm like, thank you so much for the bottle of champagne. I'm not a big alcohol drinker. This sounds really stupid now, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, first world problems, quit complaining. Well, you clicked on this video, boo. So this is a Chanel video.
We're talking about Chanel.
We're talking about Chanel, so we're going to talk about this stupid stuff. But what I want to say is, ultimately, because I'm not this huge booze drinker, this sounds crazy now, but I would have preferred the sticker to the bottle of champagne, just because I could have gotten more pleasure out of the sticker than out of the bottle of champagne. Yeah. Sure, I drank the bottle of champagne. Yes, it was tasty. But to me, that's not Chanel. The Chanel sticker is Chanel.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I mean, I did say to them once, look, in other countries, when you buy, you get given a lot of like samples and this and like miniature bottles. There's nothing here. So no, it's not the policy here to give free. I mean, I did get a couple of gifts from Chanel themselves for Christmas or...
Yeah, but you have a good standing with your
event or something like that. But it's not always. It's only sometimes.
No, but you have a good standing with your fashion boutique. I mean, come on, like you have really a good standing with them. They invite you to events. You get like cool freebies.
I do appreciate them all as people. I think the ones that I know, I've been very lucky. They're absolutely lovely people, and I really connect with them, and I can be myself, and we can laugh, and I really have a good time when I see them. So I really appreciate them, not just because they work at Chanel.
No, of course. No, of course.
They're wonderful people.
No, definitely. And I mean, my sales associate is also wonderful, and that's why I'm allowed. Don't get me wrong, guys. It's not that I'm like this aggressive weirdo. I speak directly to her. I speak directly to her because I trust her, because I like her. If I wouldn't like her, I wouldn't ask her anything. And it's because I really like her a lot. And I said to her, can you please explain to me how it works? It's not that I'm like begging for it, but I just want to know the dynamics. So it's going to save me a lot of stress. And that's where she started telling me, well, our boutique is one of those stingy boutiques because they have had often management changes. And every new manager that comes wants to prove themselves better than the manager before. So he wants or she wants to prove themselves like they can handle the store, the boutique with even better profit margins. So they order less of these freebie things just to prove how they're amazing at their job. And because this is one of those boutiques that has been changing management too often, Chanel in Paris kind of like categorized it under, okay, they don't need a lot of freebies. So the problem is, even, for example, remember you guys, this wonderful exhibition that just closed down in Paris about Chanel's own clothing? So my boutique, I got the catalog from my friend in Paris who sent it over to me. Thank you so much, by the way. I love you for that. But Chanel, my boutique received 10 books. They received 10 of these catalogs. One of them is on the table. You can see it on my Coco Chanel is in my house, all spelled together, Instagram profile. I posted the photo of the table of my boutique, and the book was on it. So one book is kept in the boutique that you could look through it as you're sitting there in the boutique. And the other 9 books were gifted only to the most spending customers. And she said, I know of boutiques that receive 50 books, 60 books. But our boutique only gets 10. When Le Lion de Chanel was launched, and a lot of you, I think you also got yours for free, no? Or did you buy it?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you see, you got yours for free. So it's amazing.
Yeah, but it was with invitation to watch the show online. It wasn't.
Okay, but that's amazing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm super happy for you, and don't you dare be embarrassed for the fact that they gave you a Le Lion for free. That's how it should be. It's a freaking perfume. It doesn't cost them that much to make. You're a good client. Of course they should send you a freaking perfume, because for Chanel
send me more. If you're listening, Chanel, send me more.
No, but also, like, for Chanel standards, you guys, this, again, we're talking Chanel here, $300 for a perfume, for them, that's peanuts. For them, not for us, for them. Because they sell clothes for hundreds of thousands of dollars. So for them, that is a freebie. So what I want to say is, but my boutique received only 10. Now, imagine a boutique that has a turnover of tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars a day. To only receive 10 of these to gift, they have a lot of customers that spend a lot of money there, like a lot of money, that buy half a collection every season. And so they gift them that bottle of perfume, and they select the 10 most spending customers, and they get the stuff. But there are other boutiques that receive 100 bottles, and they're more free to give them out. So my problem is, in my particular area at the moment where I am right now, it's very stingy. But not because my sales associate is stingy, just because the amount they receive is too low of things. So there's that to consider as well, you guys. If you're going always repeatedly to the same boutique and you think they're stingy, maybe it's not that your sales associate is stingy. It could be that the management, upper management, is stingy. That's also a big thing that happens a lot, that now has been clarified to me, and I'm fine with it. As I said before, when Le Lion de Chanel was launched, I bought my bottle. It's fine. But then again, in the beauty boutique where I do purchase these things, they're so nice to me. They gave me all of the extra freebies, which are the miniature bottles of Le Lion de Chanel, which are like so adorable. So at the end of the day, I'm so thankful to have such a wonderful treatment in the beauty boutique, but then I get a really dry treatment in the fashion boutique, and it is what it is. But I have never had to resort, thank God, to personal shoppers.
Can I just say, you said I got the Leon for free. I was so excited, and then I saw on Instagram, one of the resellers got it as well.
Oh, you see, why did the reseller got it for free as well? Because the reseller buys a lot.
Yeah. So there you have it.
Let's get to some of the comments. MK says, lucky you, Laura. I begged my sales associate to gift me Le Lion for my birthday, but she said no. And she gave me Misia instead.
Well, Misia is really nice.
Well, the eau de toilette is amazing. The eau de parfum.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay, but I mean, what are we complaining again here? It's Chanel. You MK, why are you complaining? You got a 200 milliliter bottle of Misia. Why are you complaining? MK says, well, the exhibition has closed down on October 31st. I was supposed to go on November 1st. Yeah, but now the exhibition is over completely.
Oh, so sad about that. I would have loved to have seen that.
Yeah, me too. Oh, Steven says, that's why I like Estee Lauder, always lots of minis and samples, etc. But
That's
guys,
true.
but now we're mixing stuff up, you guys. I mean, I wanted to avoid the talk of the beauty boutiques. I'm talking about fashion. Okay, but I know there's a lot of people who watch me who are into perfumes and stuff, so we kind of veer back to the beauty boutiques, but in reality, you have to understand the beauty boutiques are separate from the fashion boutiques within Chanel. What does this mean? This also means, for example, the beauty boutiques sell sunglasses. Let me drink some water. So, beauty boutiques also get to sell some leather beauty cases and pouches and sunglasses, not just perfumes and creams. The fashion boutique, so there's a crossover in products. Some fashion boutiques also sell perfumes. The fashion boutiques also sell sunglasses. So you would think, if you go to your beauty boutique within the same city, and your beauty boutique has some sunglasses that you want in one color, but you want another color, the fashion boutique has them in the color you want. So you're already in the beauty boutique, you say to the beauty boutique, hey, could you transfer the glasses to the beauty boutique? They're going to say no. They're not allowed to communicate with each other. So what does this mean? One Chanel fashion boutique can ask for a transfer to another fashion boutique. But the fashion boutique cannot ask for a transfer from the beauty boutique and vice versa. So they're separate, they're considered separate economical and they're separate businesses that they don't interact with each other. So that's why I want to say I have a different standing in the beauty boutiques because you need to spend less amount of money to reach the VIP status than you need to spend in the fashion boutique to reach a VIP status there. So, but at the same time, the fashion boutiques don't get all of the weird cream perfume samples that the beauty boutique gets, obviously, because they're not a beauty boutique. But the beauty boutique is also not going to get the free leather wallets, the free golden brooches that the fashion boutique gets. So there's always pros and cons to both. I was particularly focusing on the fashion boutique standard, which I think has gone so high to a point where at this point, to be a VIP customer, you either really have to be over the top rich or a reseller.
Yeah.
Because how else are you going to reach that status? I mean, we're talking, like my sales associate told me, like, people need to, like at this point, the standard at Chanel is like, you need to drop like $50,000 in one go. Yeah. And then like slowly you build up your reputation. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? No other luxury brand does it. You guys, a lot of people talk about Hermes and having to spend a lot of money to reach that point where you get offered a Birkin or a Kelly and blah, blah, blah. At Hermes, their standards are not as high as at Chanel in terms of greed and wanting so much money. I remember back in the day, I'm not into these Kellys and Birkins as much as I am into their horse riding gear. So all the stuff that I bought from Hermes in the past are, the horse riding crop, the whips, and all the kind of kinky stuff, which I love from Hermes. Their tarot cards. I like their jewelry. I have a couple of their silver pieces, but like stuff like that. And right after I bought some perfumes and a whip, I already got invitations to their exclusive sales, to this, to that. Like they already leveled me up in a position where like, okay, we deem him a reputable customer because he's buying the weird stuff from us that nobody really looks for. And he authentically really likes it. So all I needed to prove to them was that I really like their brand. Chanel doesn't care if you really like their brand. Chanel cares about your money. And this is what really ticks me off because they have pushed their standards in terms of how much they want to earn so high that it's like impossible to penetrate the system. But at the same time, their quality is crap for the most. Let's talk about that for a second.
It has some items leave a lot to be desired, don't they? I mean, the stitching is a bit, I don't know. I have been very lucky so far, but I heard of people who have a lot of problems with the quality.
I mean, like what?
that, for example, somebody bought a bag, and then I don't know how to explain this, but you know when you put the bag down on the table,
Yeah.
The flap was twisted. It didn't align. This was a brand new square mini in black lambskin from the boutique. So she put the bag in different positions. So on the table, standing properly, and the flap was not straight. It was slanted to one side. And I said, "Oh, don't worry. Perhaps when you put it on your shoulder and you wear it with the chain, it will." And no, it was a problem with the bag.
I mean,
a very obvious one.
I have to say it happens a lot with their flap. But this it's gonna. I'm gonna say something now, and a lot of people are gonna be like, "Really, Dacob?" But I'm gonna say it anyway. Truth be told, even in the past, during Coco's life, standards. I've seen vintage Chanel bags. They're not perfect. Okay? And this is something very fascinating. They were partially machine made and partially by hand. But she did not care if things were slightly off. She thought it gave it character. Now, I know today nobody could sell it as, oh, it has character. You're going to say, this isn't perfect because I'm spending so much money, I want it to be aligned. But truth be told, who says that the straight line is perfect? Okay, no, I get it. But I have a couple of pieces from Chanel too where there's an inch here or there where things aren't like mathematically perfect. But these are organic bags. They can't be mathematically perfect. So I have, for example, my square mini in Jersey. The flap, for how it's produced, one corner of the flap is tighter than the other corner of the flap. The edge, bottom edge. And it gives, I don't want to say, you could say, well, they didn't produce it right. Didn't they? They didn't if you want it to be mathematically precise. But it has character. And I bought that one years of 2016. And my sales associate from another boutique, they said, and I love her to bits. She's such a darling. And I said to her, oh, but this one is a little bit like unfortunate. She's like, yes, that's its character. And she's not that she's the last person in the world who would try to sell anything at any cost. She's the type of person who sits down with me and listens to me talk about Chanel and stuff. Like, she's really, really amazing. I love her so much. And she's the one who also told me, I came to the boutique that day with my chevron single flap from the Korean cruise collection, the black chevron. And I said, I love this bag so much. I use it so much and the quality is so great. And she looked at it and she's like, oh, this is one of our Spartan bags. And I was like, what do you mean by Spartan? She's like, this is one of those heavy duty ones. It's not the elegant bougie edit, but it's the Spartan utilitarian one. That's its character. That's why it's a little bit more squishy. So she has this way of observing these things. And when I said, oh, look, the Jersey Square Mini has that slight, it's like a face on a human body. And you know, you have like a beauty mark on the left, but not on the right. And that's considered beautiful too. You know, Marilyn would draw hers on or whatever. That's how that bag is perceived by her. And she said, well, to me, this is not a flaw.
Sure.
To her, it's a character trait. Now, you see, I told her, I get it, but then don't keep upping the freaking prices. Because at a certain point, I'm going to start asking myself, okay, I have to associate this price with something. What am I associating this price with? Your quality going up and up and up, so that's why you're justifying the higher prices, or you're just upping the prices because you don't want every idiot out there to have your bags? You know? Like,
I agree.
Yeah, so, okay, but then you can't just use that as an excuse. Well, I don't want everybody to be able to have the bag. I don't want the bags to flood the market. I want to keep the covetability of my brand high so I could keep the standard of the brand high, so I could keep the name of the brand high. I'm like, okay, fine, but then keep the quality high as well. How about that?
And that's the point that this person made. I mean, I just spent, she said, all this money on a mini square, and it is quite off. I am a bit like, I'm not that obsessive in terms of, you know, the bag has to be perfectly straight, or the colors have to be this or that, or because to me as well, you know, there's a special emotional sort of connection to the bag. So like when I bought the metallic bag, a friend of mine was saying, oh, you shouldn't have bought the bag, it doesn't look exactly as the one in the catwalk. And I was trying to explain to her, these bags are painted by hand, so each of them is going to be different, but this is special because it's the first one that they got and they kept it for me. But I could see this person's point that if you don't have so many Chanel bags and you waited a very long time to have your mini square in black leather for it to arrive, and it was very off. She was disappointed. She was really, she's a lovely person, so she contacted the boutique and they helped her out. She still doesn't have her mini square, but I'm sure it will arrive soon. But I could see her point in terms of, I'm spending all this money. I didn't expect it to arrive like that.
Yeah.
So that is like you said, if you're going to keep putting the prices up, then the quality has to.
Whoever in the factory is producing it, like, you see that it's wonky. You see that you made a mistake. Like, why don't you, you know, I think they're just, even the brand is at fault here. They're pushing their manufacturers in the factories to just produce more and more and more and more. Like, let's say 3 years ago, I'm just shooting stupid numbers here that make no sense, but just to make an example, okay, don't take my word for the actual numbers here, hypothesizing only. Let's say 5 years ago, within 1 hour, you had to make 5 bags. Now they're telling you in 1 hour, you got to make 10. And this is the problem. At one end, they're saying we don't want to oversell. We don't want to oversaturate the market. But on the other hand, they're producing more. So don't produce more, for effing sake. Produce less. Don't make 9 collections a year, maybe. Huh? Cut it down to 4 collections a year. Don't overdo it. Because they're biting themselves in the tail. At one point, they're saying, I don't want to sell too much. But then but I want to produce a lot. That doesn't make any sense.
I think that sooner or later, this amount of so many collections a year is going to have to stop, because it's not sustainable anyway, and it's not what we want nowadays, is it?
It's not sustainable at all. And I think a lot of these processes, what we have to understand, collections are thought through years in advance. So even what we're seeing now, spring, summer 21, fall, winter 20, fall, winter 21, the initiation of these collections were already partially conceived before the lockdown. So what I want to say is fashion moves really slowly. You think it moves fast because they churn out new collections all the time, but truth be told, they're planned out way ahead of time. So it's really hard for this colossus. It's like with alligators. They always say when you're in Florida, if a gator starts running at you, they're fast as a mofo. When they're on their land and they're running, they're fast. And they can jump, they can leap way forward. They can jump on you. So they say, but a gator is a massive, colossal reptile. If a gator starts running at you, the only way you have a chance at saving yourself is by quickly veering to the left or to the right. So when a gator has a direction, it starts running in that direction. It can go fast as a cheetah, but it can't turn quickly. It's very heavy. It needs to stop, turn, and then start running again. So if you start running away from a gator, jump to the left, the alligator won't have the time to turn as quickly. So this is how I envision these colossal luxury brands as well. They're in motion like a train, and they're heading in that direction. But times are changing quicker than the actual production and manufacturing of these brands. So what happens is, not just Chanel, all of these luxury brands in general, they need time to reset the mentality and production. So they start, as I said before, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they already started planning spring, summer 21. It was way before the lockdown. So for them to adjust to the lockdown, they can't. They need time. They need like 2 years to adjust to the new needs. And this is why we're seeing issues like certain pieces are being dropped, not delivered to the boutiques. Certain pieces are not produced at all anymore because the manufacturers can't deliver in time because a lot of people haven't been working. They've been in lockdown. So there's all of that. And fashion has to change at its core. That gator movement has to turn into a more flexible movement. And we're not there yet. Fast fashion is there. Fast fashion copies whatever luxury fashion does within a couple of months. But because they have their literally factories where slaves work for them for no money almost, and standards are super low, and they can just scream at people and yell, now do this, now do that, and people do it. But if we are to produce sustainably in the US, in America, in Europe, where there are some sort of laws in place to protect the worker as well, but then you can't just push the worker to do whatever you want them to do. It has to also be fair. And to produce within that sustainability of fairness and law, and being quick to adapt to the needs of the market, because right now, the market doesn't need 9 collections a year, you guys. It's just that Chanel is on that train. They're rolling like a gator. They can't stop right now. They can't turn just yet. They need to slowly slow down, turn, and then move again. And this is the problem. This is why it's so obsolete. This is why, since years, I've been telling you, fashion is dead, because it's like running like this fast speeding train towards a wall. And things have to change because the needs have changed as well. Anyway,
I do hope that there's a change of mentality coming out of this difficult period that we all been through. That people realize that we don't need to consume at the same rate. Therefore, we don't need 9 collections a year, especially 9 collections that are not that breathtaking anyway.
Yeah, they all feel watered down because not a lot of thought went into them. Yeah, but you know why? Because again, they don't have time.
Exactly.
You had half a year time to produce a collection. Now you got 2 months.
But the thing that worries me is that, here in England, now we have more freedom to go out. We can go to the shops and everybody's back buying stuff, even me. But again, everybody is doing this fast fashion, for example, unboxings, and perhaps we didn't learn anything. The fashion industry will carry on and recover and will carry on giving us 10 collections a year. I don't know.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying.
I tend to buy, even if you see me that I put something on Instagram, I tend to buy pieces that are forever. So, for example, the other day I found a Mulberry coat, and I got it because I know I'm going to be wearing this coat until I'm old and I can't wear it anymore. So I now base all my purchases on that concept.
I've been doing that for many years already. That's the best way to go. But I think sales have gone up, sure. But listen, I mean, people who have had money before, that haven't been too affected by the situation here and could still work from home or whatever, they didn't travel. Still, a lot of money has been saved up from going on holiday, and this money can be spent for buying a bag. And so there are...
Do we need 10 pairs of jeans from some high street brand? Do we need to unbox stuff? Or again, all these influencers with these meaningless unboxings every day? That's the thing that's worrying me, that... sometimes the 9 collections a year are fueling another side of fashion that is not very positive.
Well, yes, of course. And the influencers have their fair share of guilt, but they're sponsored by these. So they earn money off of this. They earn money off of unboxing ugly, unsustainable denim jeans or what have you, whatever it is every day, because it's money for them. But still, we have to see the bigger picture. This, to me, even this influencer unboxing 20 boxes a day, or making 20 videos of unboxings a day. That's part of that alligator. That's part of that industry that's already been that way before the lockdown. And they're still in that system. They're still in that mentality. And that train is still going towards that wall. It's still not turning. But what I'm saying here, we, the consumer, actually have changed. I can tell you this. When it comes to me, okay, I have bought last summer 2 Chanel cardigans for my birthday. One was on sale, one was full price. And I bought Benetton because Castel Bajac is back at Benetton. I love their summer collection for 60% off. So I got like my whole wardrobe for the year for $300, everything done. And then fast forward to winter sale, Vivienne Westwood, I bought 1 shirt. That's my clothing. I didn't spend any money on, all I did buy 1 pants, the Popeye pants, but that's Benetton. So I bought 1 pair of pants in a whole year because just like people at home, Zoom, you see me from here to here. What I have on right now, shorts. I got my Y3 shorts that I've had since 10 years. I'm chilling in my shorts. They're black, they match the shirt, but this is the shorts I wear every, you know what I mean? I'm chilling at home. So there's no need for me to spend money on that.
Pajamas on.
You got your PJs on now, you see, and it's totally normal. This is where we're at now. So, and look what I've been buying. If you observe the pattern forming here, my Chanel purchases, which is the only stuff I actually buy, is Chanel. And look what I've been, thanks to the lockdown, and thanks to the fact that not everybody could just go into these boutiques to buy everything, things have slowed down for me as well. There's not that rush to get something. And what have I, and look, and if you observe my videos from the past, these couple of weeks past, what are the unboxings that I've done? Except for that one new piece, the tote from 2021, the foldable shopping drama tote. All the other pieces I bought are like 2 to 3 years old. They've been hanging in the boutiques. Nobody bought them. They're archived pieces in the boutiques. And thanks to the fact that I haven't been exposed to going out too much and going to the boutiques every week, I've focused and I've had more time to communicate with my sales associate over chats, and I've been asking her very specific questions, and there was time to deal with those questions. I didn't feel forced to speed up because she had another 50 clients waiting in the boutique. There was nobody in the boutique. It was a lockdown. All her communication was done through text messaging. And looky, Dacob got himself a 2018 or 2019 255 camera bag.
You were very lucky.
Which did not receive any price increases because Chanel didn't care for that bag. Looky, Dacob got a 255 pouch, which is also 2 years old. Nobody wanted it. So this is the stuff I'm looking for. Now, this is how sustainable fashion has become to me. I'm so happy to find those pieces that to me mean the world, but they're not new anymore. So you're never going to see any influencer unbox them because they're not new. Influencers are going to want to unbox the newest thing that you don't have yet, but they already have it 1 week before you got it. You know, and this is where the times have changed. I couldn't care less for their unboxings, for what they got to show and say, because I'm on my own track. I'm not that gator. I've already turned. I'm already going that direction, and that direction is leading towards archival pieces, towards beautiful pieces done in the past that nobody cares for.
Yeah. In my case, I thought it was very interesting that the bag that I'm using the most is the one that I've restored and painted myself.
Oh, gorgeous.
You know, the one that was completely ruined, it was who painted that bag with normal paint? It's like, why would you do this? And I restored that bag, upcycled it, and it's back looking amazing. And I keep wearing it. Yeah. Every time I'm going to pick a bag, I pick that one.
You know why? Because also Coco Chanel was very hands down on everything she made. She did it herself. So for you to have a Chanel bag that you actually put your hands on and you've given it your own life, that is quintessentially Chanel. So that bag, of all the bags you got, is the most Chanel bag you have. Isn't that a weird paradox?
I'm very emotional. Thank you.
But listen, this is as close as you're going to get to Chanel's essence, is when you're hands down on your products. That's her mentality. She was always for the, adapting a piece to your needs.
Yeah, yeah.
So
yeah, but,
that Chanel bag is the most Chanel bag you got.
And it sort of made me feel at peace with what I have. You know, do I need another bag? Well, I've got my painted one now. It's the bag of bags. Do I need anything else? I don't know.
No, you don't.
I reached that level of, I'm very content.
Yeah.
And
Nirvana.
I found it fascinating that I reached that level through something that had a previous owner. Obviously, the bag had been loved and worn and used and then painted. And then it got to me, and I could give it a second life.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And I think that's the essence of what I want to be now.
And that's a wonderful way. You see, you have also, this lockdown has made you think too. You have also turned that, you've derailed that train as well. You're also changing track and direction.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. I definitely think twice. Even when I was buying this coat, which was a gift from my husband anyway, I am not an impulsive shopper anyway, not even with Chanel. I really think about what I buy, and I think very carefully before I go to the boutique. I think that's why my SA likes me, because he knows that when I get there, I know what I want, and I usually will get it. I made up my mind already, and if the quality is right and it's what I want, I will get it, and that's it. So I'm not an impulsive shopper, but I have stopped buying so many things that I don't really need.
Good. Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't need anything really, but...
Well, really, yes. If we take it to that level,
no,
yes.
Exactly. But luxury, no, and I know, but I need my Chanel dose from time to time because it's food for my soul as well, because I love it so much.
In my case, I feel it is who I am now. It represents, it's the best version of me. And I don't wear it, like I said before, I don't wear Chanel to show off. I don't wear it because of the CCs, because like you now, I'm really into the 255s, which is a more, it's not so in your face in terms of Chanel.
Yeah.
It's more understated, more elegant in my opinion. So I don't wear it to show off. I don't wear it. I just wear it because it represents me in the best way, and I feel very comfortable wearing it. But when I didn't have Chanel jackets, I was very happy to wear, something similar, and still have that look. But that is my look. This is who I am. It is my essence, represented in the best way that I can afford at this moment in time. Yeah,
and with time, as we get older, also we need less the branding, the logomania, because it's something that we have a lot when we're younger, when you still don't know where you belong, and you want to belong to something, and then you kind of fall victim to the marketing ploys of the brands, and then you spend money, you pay them money to wear their logo on yourself, which is crazy. But then the older you get, and the more you realize the values are somewhere else.
As human beings, we have a very big need to belong to something. As Maslow said that in his pyramid of needs. I mean, belonging to a group is one of the biggest needs that we have. But I think, like you said, as you get older and your place within society and your family is more set, and you know yourself better, you can express that without the need to have that, logo all the time, but have the look and have the essence of something that represents you. Yeah.
And I mean, what better way to end this video than like that? But before we end it, because we're already over 1 hour mark, let me read a couple of comments. My bag of the day says, as my values have evolved over the years, I'm no longer interested in following any of those influencers doing fast fashion unboxings. I do see a change towards sustainable wardrobe, personal styles. That's my bag of the day. Toys Box says, actually, I don't know about bags, but for clothes and jewelry, Chanel reduced a lot of their amount of production, and it's not really done years ahead. The stuff we'll see on the runway next week for cruise is actually done in the atelier right now. They had to adapt in certain ways for sure, but Toys Box, You're not getting the point here. The bigger picture is Chanel doesn't need to make a cruise collection. This is what I'm trying to get. Do you understand what I'm saying? They don't need, but they still are on that train. They still want to do that cruise freaking collection to make their quota of 9 collections a year. It doesn't matter if they're adapting the cruise collection. The styles are being picked at in the last minutes now before the show is done. They're still making the cruise collection, which is unnecessary. This is my point. Jesus says a Chanel bag is just beef jerky for the gators. It's true. A leather Chanel bag is dried up beef jerky for the gators. Roja says, love the alligator picture. The comparison, thank you, or the metaphor. Mr. Philip Fabulous says, fashion needs to die once and for all. The death of fashion must happen, and it needs to be reborn. And I read to you, for those of you who are my members, Tier 2 members on YouTube, and on Patreon, one of the chapters of the Allure of Chanel book, there's a whole chapter that she entitled, Fashion, in order to sustain itself, fashion must die, and it must die fast. And that's exactly that concept that Coco Chanel already knew back in the 50s. The last cruise collection was a joke, honestly, says MK. I was so embarrassed for them that I didn't know what to say. I do view my collection the same way as Laura. I don't watch the unboxings of the so-called unicorn caramel mermaid bags anymore. I am more into style and ready to wear anyways. Which brings me back to the question we had before the live. Somebody asking me, like, is the ready to wear worth it? It's only worth it if that's part of your dream. Okay? If that's your dream and you want to live that fantasy, you're paying for the dream. You're not really paying for the... Listen, let's be honest. A jacket, $7,000, and it's not handmade, you're paying for the dream. No matter how good that jacket looks, no matter how good that jacket looks, it's not handmade. You are paying for the dream. Mr. Philip Fabulous, that's a very French way of thinking, viewing a slight flaw as a strong character trait. Of course, Mr. Philip Fabulous, otherwise actresses that have, which one is it? Brigitte Bardot with that huge separation of the teeth in the front. That flaw is what makes her so beautiful. Which is not a flaw at all, by the way, but you know what I mean by beauty standards, stuff like that. Look at all the Vanessa Paradis, the same thing. She was a face of Chanel for such a long time. She also has that gap between her teeth.
She's gorgeous, though.
Of course, she's gorgeous, but she has those imperfections. But they give her the character. That's what makes her even more beautiful. And so I don't mind when my bag has character traits like that. I do mind when a stitch is cut. I do mind when something is broken. That, I do mind. I don't mind if something is 0.5 millimeter off in some way, shape, or form, because I embrace it. Listen, I'm not symmetric either. Nature, so what? Am I supposed to be killed off? My mom's supposed to send me back to the dead because nature gave her a faulty, unsymmetric son? You know what I mean? Like, things are the way they are. Nature is perfect within its imperfection, you guys. Now, this is not to be confused with a broken stitch, a chip in the leather, a cut, you know, stuff like that, like flaws, like the bag that I unboxed that was faulty, where the piece of nylon is falling out. That's a mistake. That's a mistake, okay? But if the leather circle is slightly turned, it is what it is. As long as everything is held in shape together. Anyway, we can debate this for other hours and hours and hours. This is a topic that some people just are irked by it. They cannot stand it, and others can. And I've been telling you in this video, interesting enough, how everything is holistic. I said also, you know, like these lines and these like kids, when I was jumping as a kid across over those lines on the cement floor of the sidewalk, I know I've grown up with these obsessions. I've grown up with this need to have everything symmetrical, but I'm working on it to not make it condition my life to a point where I'm always going to be unhappy. Always.
Yeah. I was going to say, it has to make you happy when you're buying.
No, I know, but if you're so obsessed with the perfect line, if you're obsessed with
accepted, Yeah.
You'll never be
totally
happy.
agree.
You'll never be happy because guess what?
Yeah.
You're not the one making that bag. You can only
There's
come as
always
close as
something.
possible to happiness and perfection as if you learn how to do that freaking bag yourself and you make it yourself. And then you can pay attention to everything the way you want it to be. But the second that somebody else is in charge and making that bag for you, you got to learn to let it go a little because otherwise you'll never be happy because you'll always find a flaw. Always.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, let me read
I dream about being able to make my own Chanel bags. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, me too. Me too. MK says, my friend had a look at my file in their software, in the Chanel software, and my sales associates mentioned I was a very special but easy client who really likes the brand and who likes to buy stuff that nobody else wants. My God, they have, this is like the Gestapo. Like Chanel is holding files on us, Laura. And MK says, I'm pretty sure you have the same sort of annotations from your essays, Dacob. I don't know, because my sales associates also know that I have a YouTube channel. So for them, I'm sure they're extra. I'm sure that they have me listed as a complicated client.
I'd love to see what they say about me.
I would love to see that too. Oh, I'm sure Dacob has a special folder, says Mr. Philip Fabulous. I'm sure with me, they're like borderline, like, should we like send him a cease and desist? Like, I'm always one purchase away from a cease and desist from Chanel. Oh, that's a t-shirt, Laura. That's a t-shirt.
Oh, we need it.
A new chapter for our book. I'm just one purchase away from a cease and desist. That's a chapter. Oh my God, is that a chapter?
Making merch, new merch coming up.
New merch. Lord Chartwood says, Hermes charges a massive premium for their endorsement on their higher-end Apple watches. Oh, that's a whole other can of worms.
Oh, no, thanks.
Don't get us even started on that.
No.
Debbie says, damn, Chanel's like a casino. Drop a pretty penny to get a free dinner or whatever. Oh, yes. Oh, exactly. They're just like that.
We talked about this as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes I stop and think, I mean, thanks for the invitation, but it's really, like you said, I mean, a perfume, how much is it to them after the amount that we spend?
Oh, nothing. It's peanuts.
Exactly. So,
Ergastiri Petra says, there is no Chanel beauty boutique in Greece at all. Mr. Philip Fabulous says, I'll remember years ago, high school, graduation, trip to Italy. A group of girls wanted to enter the Chanel store and they were not allowed in. Ever since then, I am afraid I'd have the same treatment. Well, listen, a group of teenage girls squeaking and squawking and cocking, I wouldn't let them in either. Because honestly, there's a little bit of decorum, a little bit of, one by one, I'll let you in. But not the whole chunk of girls squeaking and squawking getting in at the same time. No, because this is not kindergarten. So you can come one or two in at a time, but not 10 chicks all at once. No, not happening. I understand that. I wouldn't let that happen either. What do you think, Laura?
No, I totally agree with you. No.
And you know how teenage girls can be when they get excited with the
Yeah,
oh God.
I have turned up a Chanel in my, at the very, very beginning, wearing the most, dressed down look. And they opened the door to me and they were respectful. They didn't judge me. I've never been judged by what I was wearing. So if those, perhaps it's like you say, it's that sort of behavior, it's that group, attitude that perhaps didn't sit well with them.
Yeah, it's the group attitude. It's the group dynamic, you guys. Always the group dynamic.
It's the group dynamic. Because they don't like, even now, people turning up in groups to shop.
No, it's not a good picture. Like you're, 5, 6, 7 people showing up at the door. No. It's also sketchy. It's never a good picture. Because then 7 people spread out and then somebody could steal something. Like they also have to protect their turf.
And it's also a group dynamic, that, are you buying that? Oh, I want show me that then. Or could you bring that down? Or what is she looking at? It's so, that it's messy. That's the word.
Yeah. It's very like chickens, like all spreading out at the same time.
Yeah. Yes.
Let me read another one. Toys Box says, the next couture show will take place in the same place of the exhibition in the Galleria Palais. Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, if we only could be there, yeah, that would be so good.
Yeah, I know. Wow. So the next couture show is going to be in the Galleria Palais. I'm looking forward to that one. Audrey says, Chanel sales associates don't care about resellers. At the end of the day, they have sold the product and received their commission. The reseller gets money and the consumer gets their product. Shame for collectors. Yeah, but you get your product at a marked up price, which is also not fair. I mean,
and to be fair, some essays are bothered by personal shoppers.
mm-hmm.
Some might not be, and they want their sales, but some of them are.
And why do you think they are?
They don't. I don't know their personal reasons, but they do not like it. They do not want to sell to personal shoppers or resellers.
I see.
They rather sell the item to somebody who really wants it.
Yeah.
At the price stipulated by the boutique, not 5 or 10 or 20% more.
I think the sales associates that are more bothered by personal shoppers, I think those are the sales associates that have been working for Chanel the longest.
Yes, and well, I know a couple or a few, and they all have difference of years at the boutique. But I think it's the ones that are the nicest, I would say, that really like it when the customer is passionate about the brand, that they recognize those sort of people, that they want to read, that really helpful, they really want to help you get the bag or the shoes that you want. Those, they really do not like dealing with personal shoppers at all.
Aisha says that she has a huge gap between her two front teeth. We know, Aisha, and it looks adorable.
I love that.
Yeah, we love it. And MK says yes, and it's so cute indeed. Oh my God. So Sachneko77, this is hilarious. Thank you so much for the comment. He says, teenage girls in a department store or boutique is like orcs screaming and dancing in Mordor.
I love that. I got the visions now.
Oh my God, I have the whole visual of it's a whole new book for Lord of the Rings, you guys.
I love it.
Abdulaziz says my wallet and chain went from red to burgundy due to color transfer. Now that's character. Yes. Yes.
I can paint it for them.
Yeah, Laura can give you back the red tone if you want with her painting abilities.
Paint something on top.
Mr. Phillips says my art teacher used to say make an effect from a defect. Oh, used to say make an effect from a defect. Or as Bob Ross said, happy accidents.
Oh,
we love us some Bob Ross. MK says, me neither. I went to pick up something altered once at Rue Cambon, wearing a disgusting overall tarnished with chemicals. Nobody gave a damn.
I find the same. They really don't care about...
because they've learned their lesson. But they've learned their lesson. They also know you can't judge a book by its cover. Not nowadays. Many millionaires are dressed in rags because they don't want to show off their wealth. So never be too quick to judge in a luxury boutique who's who, because you might be very surprised. And Mr. Phillips says the group of teen girls were 3 girls, biggest fashion victims ever. This was pre-fashion bloggers. They would totally be the biggest Insta influencers in today's time. Well, thank God they ain't. Come to think of it, today they might be given free stuff to promote them. Oh well, that's how it is, you guys. Yeah. Well, Laura...
There's a very interesting documentary by Adam Curtis called The Century of the Self that explains why we are now stuck in this sort of consumerist society. And if anybody wants to watch it, it's very, very interesting.
Documentary or book? What did you say?
It's a documentary.
What's it called?
The Century of the Self.
By?
And it's about how we have been programmed to want the new thing all the time.
Yeah.
We learn to associate emotions to inanimate objects. So the bag makes me happy. It's not something that we used to do before.
Oh, that's so true.
You need to watch it. It goes into the psychology. I don't want to spoil it for anybody. I like people to, by Adam Curtis, I like people to watch it. And then even my daughter has watched it.
Did you say it's on YouTube?
Yes, on YouTube. Yeah,
All
The
right.
Century of the Self.
The
It's on YouTube.
Century of the Self.
Of the Self.
Don't watch it now. We're first going to watch the live stream, but after that, yeah.
Yeah, it's homework for the next time.
Homework for the next live stream. For next week, you guys. We're going to be talking about it.
My dad gives me homework every week for the next phone call. It's hilarious. So I'm doing the same now.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, Jack wrote it by Adam Curtis, and Jesus says The Century of the Self.
Yeah, that's right. It's really, really interesting. Even I remember when I was, because coming from Argentina, from Buenos Aires, where there weren't so many shops and, you know, everything was more local, you know, little shops, family owned. I remember buying things because they lasted. So let's get these shoes for school because they will last. And now with the Adam Curtis explains how we were programmed to buy to express our identity. So you don't want it to last forever because, you know, next month you might want to be somebody else. You know, you don't want to look like everybody else either. So why not express yourself through your clothes? And you thought back then it was a new concept.
Yeah, of course. Clothes.
But I found it very, I do it. I shop. I mean, I love Chanel. I love the newest bag like everybody else, but I'm not a fool. I know very well that I'm being manipulated.
I know, but times, you know, before in the past, only the rich could afford clothes without purpose.
Yes.
And now everybody can because everybody can afford it. My bag of the day says, Dacob and Laura, would you wear a Chanel bag with lots of character, aka very vintage? Of course, I have vintage bags. Well, I actually only have one, one vintage one, which is the Millennium bag, the 2005 bag from '99.
Well, the one that I upcycled was completely
vintage.
It's a vintage medium flap with the 24-karat gold hardware, and I sort of restored it. I'm sure it's not perfect. I'm sure if you looked at it up close, you would find some flaws.
And in terms of clothes, I wear vintage. I have vintage Chanel, like I have a cardigan jacket, a sweater, and I wear them. They're all vintage, and I wear them all the time. I love vintage.
I have a vintage jacket as well from early 90s. Yeah, and I love it.
So definitely yes from both of us.
Yes.
So okay, let's go to the ending now. Mr. Phil Fabulous, I saw a review of a vintage 90s Chanel bag. The leather, oh my God, delicious, delicious, delicious. Have you considered vintage Chanel bags, Dacob? Yes, but I haven't found one that I want yet. 87 Givenchy. Would be nice to not have to wait in line outside Louis Vuitton. Seems you always need an appointment. What's one to do with you if you're not at your local boutique? You gotta wait in line, especially during the lockdown periods. It's not that easy, but then you gotta wait in line. If so many people want to shop there, but they only have, let's say, 10 sales associates ready to help you and they're all busy, they can't let you in, obviously.
Book an appointment beforehand.
If you can. How do I store a classic flap jumbo? I feel like mine is deforming. I got it in 2012. Upright. It always has to stand. Don't lay it flat. Upright.
Yeah, mine is upright.
Stand upright. Stuff it with soft stuff inside. Nothing that's going to become moldy. It has to be dry stuff. Put desiccants in it. Stand it upright. Always upright. My bag of the day. But would you see wear and tear as character? Of course. Of course I would see wear and tear as character. It's part of your life, especially if you wore the bag and you caused the wear and tear. Jam says, I'm curious, is your name inspired by the Givenchy 87 collection? Okay, that's their private stuff. All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you, Laura, so much for, just sharing your passion for CHANELOHOLIC-isms with me. Zisms. We're just two simple Chanel zisms sharing our passion together.
That's another t-shirt.
Another t-shirt. We're just the Chanel zisms. Okay, so when we finally meet up, you're gonna have one t-shirt that points an arrow to me. My t-shirt is gonna point an arrow to you, and your t-shirt is gonna say I'm with this Chanel zism, and mine is gonna say, and I'm with this Chanel zismism.
We need to do that. We need our own brand. We need a brand.
Yeah, ism. What's the brand? Chanelism. No, they're gonna sue us, you know.
Ism.
Ism. CCism.
You know, like Dada started a movement because they didn't want to be a surrealism, and ism will just be the ism.
Yeah, it would be the ism. Yeah, like the Dadaists are the Dadaism. We're just gonna be. We're
take ism.
Actually, you know what? We should make it even more sad. We should just call it just ism. or it can go even more worse. Like, it's just ism. Isn't it sad? It's sadism. Sadism.
The nerds have come out now. We're two nerds.
I mean, like, you know, like Cardi B. Like Cardi B flipped the Bacardi. We could flip the Chanel. We could call ourselves Hanel C.
I'm up for it.
Yeah, it's our band. Laura and I are gonna drop our new single coming up next week called We're the Hanel C. And our first single is called Ismism.
I'm gonna start working on the lyrics.
Oh my god, yeah, Cocoism. Okay, you guys, thank you so much. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thumb up this video if you've enjoyed it. And become a member today. Push that join button next to the subscription button. You can also join me on Patreon, superdacob spelled together. Many perks are involved, including your name listed here in the scrolling bar as co-producer of the Fashion Bunker at the end of every video. And you get also extra perks like videos that don't come anywhere else but to Patreon and Tier 2 members. And you also get extra goodies like badges and emojis, which are exclusive just to you. So Laura, what are our final words to say goodbye? Do you have any thought for any wisdom, any wisdom for us?
Every purchase must be carefully considered, please. Don't just buy anything and everything, people. We don't need everything. We just need to consider every purchase.
So there you go, you guys. Laura has just taken the philosophy out of Vivienne Westwood's mouth. Buy less, choose well, make it last. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Until next time, never forget to never give up on love. Love you all. See you soon. Take care. Bye.